How would you like to have a full or part-time business that allows you to create a flexible work schedule around your busy lifestyle? Would you like to earn between $60,000 and $500,000 annually working from the comfort of your own home? If so, then virtual wholesaling may be the business for you. Contact us at reauctionacademy.com and find out how to get a jump start on building a cash flowing machine without the headaches of dealing with contractors and homeowners. With an investment starting as low as $7,000, you can be well on your way to living the virtual investing lifestyle of your choosing.
Welcome to Flipping Out with your host, Paul Ezell, your leader in virtual wholesaling and investing in today's real estate market. Each week, he will be joined by some of the biggest players in the real estate space who will share their experiences, knowledge, insight, and tips for making it big in the industry. And now, here's your host, Paul Ezell.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Flipping Out. This is your host, Paul Ezell, and today I'm going to be talking about a myriad of topics. This is going to be a solo cast. I'm going to be kind of rant, rave, and talk about a whole bunch of different things and going over year-to-date sales. Today is November 17th, if you're listening to this later, so it's a week before, just over a week before Thanksgiving. And I just want to go over numbers and see what things are looking for in 2022. I'm going to do a little screen share for those who are watching this on YouTube. If not, I'm going to read and go through everything here to give you guys an update and basically what is going on. So median home sales, the median home sale price increased 13% in October 2021 from October 2020 to a median price of $357,007. And that's actually up from 30% from 2019. So a pretty big jump there. Obviously, the last 2 years have been kind of an aberration here and largely affected by people changing jobs, moving to locations they can because they're working virtual. A lot of companies are allowing people to work virtually. So it's just changed the whole landscape of real estate in a good way and also in a negative way. In a negative way because there's not enough inventory to handle what people want. So the negative thing is if you're looking to buy, you're paying a heck of a lot more. If you're an investor, it's great because we're selling a lot of our properties right now and making decent profits, but also negative for us in the fact that we now have to pay more to acquire new properties and it's much harder to acquire new properties. And if you're a person that's doing direct mail, your direct mail costs have gone up. Everything is going up. I think the average from what I'm seeing in the mastermind groups I go to is around $4,900 per deal on average, roughly around $5,000. I've seen guys paying $6,800 per contract. That's per deal they're doing. That's a heck of a lot of money. We don't, obviously, the way we teach people how to buy off online auctions, off the MLS from wholesalers. So we don't have any marketing costs, which is great. That keeps everything down. We may pay slightly more in some instances, but we also pay a lot less in other instances with ours. And we'd love to know marketing. We could turn it on, turn it off whenever we want, go on a vacation whenever we want, and not have to worry about incoming phone calls, not have to worry about when a batch of direct mail is going on, or if you're doing pay-per-click, how to answer that call right away or to get on top of that lead right away. Because, if you don't get in the first 5 minutes in PPC, your odds are you're going to lose out on that deal. And if you're on a vacation, you're probably not going to be available to do that, or you're not going to want to do that. Otherwise, it kind of takes away the whole point of a vacation. So let's continue this here. Let's look at asking prices. Asking prices of newly listed homes were up 12% from a year ago and 27% from 2019 to a median asking price of $357,381. So you see, basically, properties are being sold just about asking price, $357,381 to $357,007 being an actual sale price. So it's pretty much people are getting ask slightly below, slightly above, but basically things are going right at asking price. And newly listed homes are up. The price of them is up 12% year over year and 27% from 2019. And obviously with the median home sale price going up 30%, a lot of those are going over ask that you're seeing there. Pending home sales were up 5% year over year and 51% up from 2019, which is our last normal market. So obviously we're not in a normal market right now, totally different type of market. So that's what we're running into here. And so 45% of homes went under contract and had accepted offer within the first 2 weeks of the market, which is pretty darn quick. So obviously things are moving quickly. If you're not jumping on a property right away, odds are you're not getting one. And this has led a lot of people to kind of like back out or hold off and see what the market does down the road. And even with people doing that, a percentage of people doing that, you still have things going quickly. This is the fall market, which is typically the slow market where you don't have a whole lot of activity going on, but there is still a whole lot of activity going on. 33% of homes that went under contract had an accepted offer within a week. And that is in a fall market. Think of that. That's October. Within 1 week, 33% of homes, and 29% in 2020, and only 19% in 2019, when it was still a seller's market at that point. So pretty interesting there. Homes that were sold were on the market for a median average of 23 days. It took a full week longer than the all-time high that we saw in June and July, but that's typical, right? Because it's a slower time of year. June and July, really hot time of year. Really, when you look at it from March through August, pretty hot time of year to be buying. And that's obviously going to be, things are going to be moving a lot quicker during those times. And that's actually the time I was looking to buy as well. I think I got my property when I moved from Pennsylvania to Florida here under contract in, I believe it was early July, late June, actually, early July. And yeah, late June. And we closed August 2nd. So pretty quick here. That mortgage process was an absolute nightmare, as most of you know. It is what it is. We all have to go through it. Hopefully things get easier in the future with that. So on average, 4.7% of homes for sale each week had a price drop, 1.1% drop from 2020 and 0.01 from 2019. So not many homes are having price drops. Under 5% is pretty crazy. You know, typically in a typical market, you're probably gonna be over 20% or somewhere in that range with price drop, just with people typically overpricing things and they have to come down. So the average sale to list price, which measures how close homes are selling to their asking prices, was flat. That was basically 100.6%. Basically, things are going slightly over ask. Pretty interesting. And we saw it in the numbers there up above. Let's look at the numbers here in 2021. Obviously, you can look at the things from 2019, January, dipped down there, February, March, and this is when COVID was really in play. And then coming out of that, look how it just took off and then kind of leveled off in the fall and then picked up again. And in 2020, it took off in the spring and took off in the summer. And in 2021, even earlier, it really went vertical very quickly in March, all the way up here in August, where it kind of leveled off. That was, it looks like July 25th was the peak at $359,975, which is totally crazy. Things were going away over ask. And now things have slowed down a little bit, but now a little bit of an uptick here in October, which is really, really interesting. You just don't normally see that this time of year. If you look at the other years here below, you don't normally see that. Very, very interesting data here, going through it here. And this is the asking prices, obviously. And then typically in the fall, people ask less than they do in the spring market. And that's normal here. Here's pending. I'm not going to go too deep into pending here, but I kind of got into the data up there. So very interesting stuff. I'm going to stop the share here. Very interesting data that we're getting there. We are in a very interesting market. I'm going to call it a fragmented market or fractured market, whichever word you like better. So typically in real estate, and what I mean by that, let me dive into that. When you look at real estate, people tend to think that it goes up and down nationally. Like every market kind of goes up and down at the same time. And that never really ever happened. It happened to an extent. You have these linear markets, these lower price markets like in the Midwest and the Carolinas that never really change that much. But in other markets, in markets like Florida and in markets like Arizona and California and Las Vegas, where you have seasonal markets, and depending on how the economy is doing, those would go up. Those were cyclical markets where they would go up and down a lot more than other markets. Now we're going into fractured markets. And what we have is people moving from California. There was a big boom, people going from California to Boise, Idaho, and Boise, Idaho, the prices went through the roof, and now they're actually falling. They're falling now when other places are still going up. San Francisco is falling as well. And I think that large part is politics and what's going on there and the price point, people getting priced out. So people moving elsewhere. Whereas, Phoenix, Arizona, that market's still growing. You're getting a lot of California people moving to Phoenix, Arizona, a lot of them moving to Texas, a lot of them moving to Tennessee. We had an outflow, some to Wyoming and Montana. Again, not big populations, no states, but you do get an outflow to those areas. And what we're going to do is see that continue. And the trend will continue from the Northeast down to Florida, down to Tennessee, down to North and South Carolina. North and South Carolina, very affordable markets, nice areas to live, a little bit better weather for people that live in the Northeast. So they're going to appreciate that and want to move there and continue to move there. So I think those markets will continue to grow. You got areas like Raleigh, North Carolina, which is basically another tech area growing in the Northeast, in the Southeast, I should say, right? It was Silicon Valley had moved somewhat to Colorado, Denver, Colorado. Now it's also going to Raleigh, North Carolina. Eventually it'll kind of be all over the place, but Raleigh and Durham area has really gone up and will continue to go up probably over the next couple of years or so. Florida will continue to have a buildup for at least another year, if not two. And there will be markets where it decreases, Miami, where it just gets overpriced and it's also overpopulated. You probably have more inventory available in that market than you do, say, in Orlando or in Tampa or in Jacksonville or in Cape Coral or Fort Myers area. There's a lot of different areas. Florida has a lot of different markets in it. And it's a very, very interesting state from that perspective. And you can see, if you look at it county by county, where the hot county areas and where the ones where it's not as hot. And obviously, Tampa is a very investor-friendly market. So you have a lot of people buying in that. It's not just owner-occupied people, but a lot of investors buying and having rental properties in that market. It also continues to Lakeland. It's also in Orlando as well, as most Disney World, right? So you have a lot of short-term rentals there. You have a lot of rentals just in general in that market. So very, very interesting. And then Tennessee, if you go to Nashville, it is just blowing up. Every time I go there, it's just growing more and more and more. There's more buildings being built, more cranes out there building high rises. Not really necessarily high rises, but building some larger buildings out there. So it is really, really growing. That market will continue to grow. And what a lot of these states have in common. The states of growth are zero state income tax states. I'm going to go over those. So the ones that are non-desirable zero income tax states are going to be Alaska. Not a whole lot of people are going to want to be there because it's hard to get to the continental United States. You have Washington, which is not great weather-wise, not super ideal, though it has gotten an influx of people there. Nevada, again, not a huge population there, very arid, not a great area, not a whole lot to do there, but people are moving there. It is still growing. You had Wyoming, which actually would have been one of my preferred places to go. Super low property taxes, low population though, but it is growing. Not a whole lot of jobs. There's not a whole lot of infrastructure and things there, which has always held it back. It's mostly, federal lands, federal game lands and stuff. So, and parks. So you just don't have a whole lot there of potential future major growth. Casper is one of your bigger cities there. And that's where I have an investment property. I have a 12-unit building there. Very fortunate to pick up last year. We're renovating and hopefully completed by the end of this year and get it up fully rented, refinance and keep that one. And to give you an idea, 12-unit building out there, the annual taxes are under $3,000 for me, which is just astounding. You put that in Pennsylvania where I used to live, and you're probably $20-some thousand a year in taxes on a building like that, or at least in the teens, depending on what township you're in. And if you're in other parts of the Northeast, it's going to be even worse, like New Jersey, like New York, going up to Massachusetts, any of these states there. So that's kind of what we're seeing here. Texas is going to continue to get a boom. Texas has great jobs, right? Job growth. A lot of companies from California moving to Texas. Tesla, obviously, there's been many others that have moved there as well. You got Toyota in Plano, Texas there. You just have so much job growth. I don't anticipate that market going down. I think over the next 5 years, you're going to continue to have massive growth there. I think where I am here in Florida, you're going to have people, more baby boomers retiring. The latest of the baby boomers retiring, potentially moving down there to the Carolinas as well, but Florida's going to continue to get that. You do have jobs down here, but it's not the same as what Texas is offering. But it's pretty impressive, the growth. Alabama, another state with impressive growth. And it's not a zero income tax state, but it is still pretty impressive with what they're getting and jobs, and your cost of living is lower there. The real estate taxes aren't outlandish. Georgia's pretty solid as well. So some of these markets are going to continue to do well over into 2022. And so it's kind of changed my philosophy a little bit in what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a bit more buy and hold. And why am I going to do that? I'm going to do more buy and hold because interest rates are just so low that the money is so cheap. I'm not going to be able to get this money down the road, years down the road. I'm not going to be able to get properties that cash flow with this super low interest rate. Yeah, prices may drop because interest rates increase. But as long as the property's cash flow, I'm still going to be in great shape. And guess what? Rents are going to drop. Rents haven't dropped. Rents generally do not ever drop. Things have to get really bad for rents to drop. And even if they dropped a little bit, as long as I have a nice cash flow cushion, I'm still going to be in pretty good shape with a lot of these properties. And I'm shifting from Pennsylvania, the rentals I have there, to states like Florida, to Tennessee, to Texas, and Wyoming. I'm going to kind of stay in those zero income tax states just to make things simpler and better and easier for me. And that's kind of where I'm looking at things going here in 2022 and what my plan is. I'm going to continue wholetailing because wholetailing is the way to go now. Why is wholetailing better than than rehabbing right now and wholesaling, right? I'll still wholesale properties, but we went from 80% wholesale model down to a 25% wholesale model this year. And then we're doing 25% wholesale, which is going to increase probably more like 50 to 60% wholesale, and then some fix and flips and some rentals, buy and holds. But the reason I'm going more to wholesale is because the supply chain is a major issue. And the supply chain is going to continue to be a major issue going into 2022. It's just continuing to get worse and worse and worse as we have less labor, less skilled labor. You have less supplies, less people making those supplies. And we're going to see it in food price increases. I mean, we're seeing price increases in everything. We're hitting pretty heavy inflation here, definitely north of 10% in most things. And food has been well north of that. It's probably more like 30%. Don't listen to the government numbers. They manipulate and use certain data only and don't count most things. So we're going to continue to see that. And unless I want to do long rehabs that typically were done in, 2 to 3 months, now go 6 to 8, 9 months because of waiting for windows, waiting for cabinets, waiting for siding, waiting for all kinds of different building materials. We're waiting for that labor to come in and, waiting for parts on HVAC systems. I'm going to try to do more wholetailing where I'm just going to do paint, basic carpet. If I have to change cabinets, I'm going to do basic models from Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever local company is around. And I'm going to do basic cabinets in the bathrooms and basic showers, kitchens, everything with in-stock items to make them quicker. So I can turn these properties, make them still look nice, make them not like a full rehab, but make them good enough, mortgageable, still make good money. And the buyer still has some equity in a home down the road, which is a win-win for everybody. So that's kind of my model 2021, definitely going to be more my model 2022. I'm going to acquire as many potential rentals and Airbnb type properties as I can in South Florida here, as long as they make sense and I can cash flow them. And I'm going to continue to buy cryptos. Cryptos is a big play for me, and they're just going to be huge in the future. And that's where I'm leading to staking. I am making a good bit of money staking cryptos, which to me is, with rentals, you have to deal with tenants and toilets. So I don't have to deal with tenants and toilets staking the property. So now I am able to just collect income. Like, for example, I've staked Theta and Theta Fuel, T Fuel, and I'm earning around $2,100 per month. We're called around $2,000 per month on that. And there's a few others that I'm staking as well. So making around 3, I'm going to be upping those stakes and upping the cryptos to have that great staking so I can then earn at least $5,000 a month to pay for my son's college, and then hopefully continue to build that here with other cryptos and be able to pay for my mortgage, taxes, insurance, and hopefully some living expenses here as things get pricier and pricier. So definitely keep your eyes out on cryptos too. Look at the space. The metaverse is definitely coming. The metaverse is virtual reality. For those who don't know what it is here. It is coming. Decentraland could be a good play. That's one I'm in. There's a few other ones that are pretty good out there. But I don't have any links that I am going to be getting into the educational side in that this year as well. So if anybody's interested in learning more about cryptos, reach out to me at REO Auction Academy, or reach out to me at Flipping Out here, and we'll connect you, and it'll be pretty affordable, and it'll give you some great information on the crypto space if you can't afford or don't want to get into the real estate space. But real estate is still the bread and butter. It still gives you the best tax advantages, which is why you need to hold rentals. And I don't get those tax advantages on cryptos. Unfortunately, everything is a capital gains. Everything is profit. So it's a total different animal than real estate. Or real estate, I can offset a lot of my gains with rentals by being able to write off the depreciated property over 27 and a half years, be able to write off that mortgage interest, the taxes, the insurance, the expenses, the maintenance on the property. So it gives so many tax advantages. I just think it's so important for all you guys to think about that and take advantage of that while interest rates are so cheap, and they are not going to be this cheap for forever. We're getting 3-4%, and 5% is great on a rental property, in my opinion. Once you get over that 7-8, things are going to be a lot more difficult, and that's when I'm probably going to look to do a little more creative purchasing of my rentals, where I'm taking properties subject to, or try to get some owner finance deals out there. Anyway, hopefully you guys got some great information here and enjoyed this episode. I will probably be doing more solo casts throughout the year here. What I'm looking to do is potentially do a solo cast per month, plus 1 to 2 interviews per month here, moving forward in a late 2021 into 2022. All right, guys, take care, and see you at the next one.
You've been listening to Flipping Out with Paul Ezell, the #1 success platform for virtual wholesalers. Visit our website, thevirtualinvestor.co, for more information about how you can leverage virtual wholesaling to take control of your time, enjoy financial freedom, and live life the way you've always wanted to. Join us again next time for another informative discussion right at your fingertips.